Hello, friends. Today I've got a special lesson for you about things that are soft, fluffy, scattered, lumpy, and sometimes they come in sheets, and they're way up there. Go outside and find a nice, comfortable place in the grass to lay down and look up, and let's see if you can see any clouds. Well, friends, I hope you had a really good time relaxing out there and looking up at the sky. Did you see anything up there? Maybe something like this? Some clouds. They're pretty amazing, those clouds, made of water vapor. Remember, they're part of that water cycle, the evaporation and then the condensation. Well, let's talk about those clouds. And I'm going to teach you some really cool words along the way. For example, there's 3 levels of clouds. There's some really low clouds called stratus clouds. There's some sort of mid-level clouds that we like to call alto clouds. And then there's those really high clouds. They're so high and so spread out, often with a zero in their name. So you'll hear names of clouds with stratus, alto, and cirro. And that'll tell you a little bit about where they are in the sky. And there's combinations of those with other words to give us a whole array of friends. Well, for this work, you're going to need a piece of paper. I know the sky is blue, and you can do this with a blue piece of paper, but you won't be using a regular pencil. Now I'm going to do this demonstration with regular paper and a regular pencil, but if you have some colored paper, here's some other colors that might work for you. And I've got an example for you at the end. But the movements are going to be the same. Where do we start? Let's start with some of those really high clouds way up in the sky. And this is a bit of a drawing lesson too. We're going to be using this pencil in some different ways, not just the point, but this side, the sort of wedge shape there. So let's start with that. I want you to take your pencil and very, very lightly drag your pencil across, making use of that side. Every so often, maybe push just a little bit harder. So you drag those clouds across the sky. These are really high clouds. They go way high up in the air, in the atmosphere. These are cirrus clouds. Let's label them. Remember that word I told you? Cirro, for being high? These clouds have that in their name. And you're going to hear this one again because it also means wispy. A lot of the clouds that are really high are wispy, like these cirrus clouds. Let's learn about another cloud you might have seen today. This one's a little bit different. It forms in little clumps, light little clumps. So let's make little soft patches with the side of our pencil very gently, very gently. Give it some little wispy curls, as if a whole bunch of soft, fuzzy cotton balls are coming together, but they're so light and airy. And wispy too. These are very wispy clouds. In fact, part of their name means wispy. And part of their name means that they sort of heap or bunch together. These are cirro cumulus clouds. Wispy like the cirrus clouds, and they have the word cumulus, which means to make a heap or pile. They accumulate together. Did you see any cirrocumulus clouds today? Let's write their name. Well, there's lots of other clouds in the sky for us to explore. These ones like to spread way out. Go ahead and take your pencil and lightly drag it back and forth, very, very lightly. You know, you can make it jump and bounce just a little bit, just a little, not too much. Very lightly drag it. It's okay if some of the cloud you've drawn gets a little blended in and smoothed out, because these clouds, they're way up high, they're really spread out, they're really soft. They're like a blanket or a sheet. In fact, their name means wispy sheet. These are Stratus Clouds. Let's go ahead and give them their name. Who wouldn't like a nice wispy sheet? Well, how about another wispy sheet, but slightly different? We're going to take our pencil and drag it lightly across, but we are going to apply a little bit more pressure. We are going to bunch some parts of this up a little bit more, make it a little bit darker, although, you know, with a cloud it would be lighter. Very light, very light. But also a little dark. This is another type of stratus cloud, another sheet, if you will, but this is the Alto stratus, a mid-level cloud. Sometimes clouds descend or ascend, and they may change shape or form. Maybe you've seen that happening today. Maybe you saw some of our next clouds. Go ahead and do that little circle pattern again. But this time as you do it very small, little concentrated patches, and almost as if there's rows of irregular little lumps, maybe even heaps of little lumps high in the sky at a mid-level range. You might have even seen these clouds today. These are Altocumulus Clouds. Remember cumulus? Those heaps? But these ones are in the mid-range. Altocumulus. How nice. Well, there's some other clouds down here too. As we get closer to the ground, there's all sorts of different clouds. Oh, I can think of a really nice one. Let's go ahead and make some little bunches again, but bigger bunches, little puffs. Really cute little puffs, maybe a little bit closer together and some little puffs between them. Use the side of that pencil and every so often lift up and lighten it up, and then every so often also put a little pressure down, because these are Stratocumulus Clouds. Let's write that name down. Stratocumulus. These are heaps of sheets. Wow, very nice in the wintertime to have a heap of sheets like that, right? But I want to introduce you to another cloud. For this one, we're going to create a heap, but a much bigger heap this time. Drag your pencil across for a little bit of distance, and then create a nice bunch, and another bunch, and another bunch, or maybe even a heap. Yeah, a nice heap. Create a large heaping cloud. Yeah, almost like popcorn. Delicious. How about let's give him a friend. A nice, heaped, lumpy friend. These are cumulus clouds. Let's write their name. Cumulus means to accumulate. These are sort of heaps of clouds, and I bet you've seen these today. Maybe. Oh, but below these, there's some other clouds too. These ones, they get real low to the ground. Go ahead and take your pencil and drag it across. Very, very wispy-like. Almost sheet-like. Because these clouds like to get way low to the ground. Some of the lowest clouds you might see, there's almost no shape to them, no definition. These are stratus clouds. Stratus clouds. Just a nice sheet. But you know, sometimes these can get really dense. Very dense. Let's draw another one next to it, but this one's a little different. This one got a little bit of extra evaporation and extra condensation near the bottom. It's getting quite dark and maybe a little spooky, and some thunder even. Looks like it's getting very heavy. Oh my. That's a nimbostratus cloud. Nimbus means rain. Stratus, sheets. These are rain sheets. That doesn't sound so fun, does it? But there's one more cloud I want you to meet. Because there's another cloud that can produce rain too. And these ones really like to get elevated. For this one, take your pencil and start like you're making a nimbostratus cloud. A little dark near the bottom. And then start to billow it up a bit. Billow it up like a cumulus cloud. Higher and higher. Maybe some larger heaps. Ah, yes, much larger heaps. And get that cloud to grow higher and higher. There's an intense amount of evaporation occurring. It's quite hot. You know later in that day that cold weather is going to come. Higher and higher. These clouds, they get really high up in the sky. They're quite impressive with the elevation. They can go from so close to the ground to so high in the air, and sometimes they even get this sort of shelf off the top of them. And once they get big enough and it gets cool enough, you can get quite a storm with one of these. This is a cumulonimbus cloud. A heap of rain. Sounds like fun, doesn't it? Well, like I said, friends, here's all the clouds on white paper. And cloud is white, and the sky is blue. So why not find a blue piece of paper to do these beautiful clouds on with a nice white colored pencil? Friends, I hope you enjoyed our little look at the clouds today. With your reference chart, you can now go out and identify the clouds you saw. Draw some more. Keep track of them with a line graph, or even a bar graph, or even a pie graph, or possibly a cloud graph. Have an absolutely fantastic day, friends.